Hello, this is Mark here at Garrett's Guitars in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and I'm here to talk about credit. Specifically, how it relates to buying and selling instruments. Um, Buy now, pay later, pay in 4 easy installments, all that kind of stuff. What's it all about? It's basically to drive more sales, of course, but it's also a way for these companies that these kind of retail finance companies to get into the business of the business. So we don't offer anything like that. We have old-fashioned layaway, which is you can put some money down on something and you get about a month to come pay for it in full. And if you're unable to pay for it in full, we usually give you what you paid in store credit. So we need to something for holding it, but basically the money's still yours, but just credit. So that's an old-fashioned layaway thing, and that's the only kind of financing that we do. Now, these things called Klarna, and you see it all in the guitar retail. Even Reverb does it through a third-party company. Sweetwater, Guitar Center. Why not buy now, pay later? You get that instant satisfaction of having the thing in your hands, and you can pay for it later. And to sweeten the pot, they give you a kind of a deal where they're like, okay, you can pay us in 4 easy installments or 12 easy installments, or there's usually a little finance fee. And these companies aren't doing this. These are third-party companies, and they're not doing this to be kind to you. They're doing it to make money off you, because rarely does everyone ever get the opportunity to pay for things in the terms of the agreement. And sometimes people let it slide, and then they'll pay the fee, or they'll pay, or the retailer has to pay a fee to them for financing the thing. It is, I'm not going to say predatory, but it borders on predatory. Let me tell you this. This is something I like to, I'm going to get a little philosophical for a second. You ever watch, like, on YouTube? This is YouTube. And years ago, all they had on YouTube was just real amateur stuff. I mean, this is really amateur too, but and I like to watch animal videos. Just fun to see what animals do. And you ever see those videos? A bear would find a bee's nest, they'd knock it down, and they'd rip it open and just eat all the honey, and the bees would sting them, and they all fly off and die. So that's not how you maximize your profit on honey, because you get to eat some honey, but you get stung in the face and there's no more honey anymore. So people thought of something a little better. We have these beehives where we host the bees in their beehive. They work like hell making honey, and then we just take a little bit of honey out every day. And they just look around going, oh, we need more honey. Let's go make more honey. Well, I think you see where I'm going with this. You're the bee in someone else's beehive. There are people, organizations, whatever, that want to make sure that if they just destroy you, then you're not going to make honey anymore. They want your money, but they can't bankrupt you. So they'll bring you to the brink of bankruptcy to make sure they empty out your pockets as much as possible. And then they'll back off a little. And the economy since 2008, and that's kind of what was happening in 2008 as well, but the economy since then is built on that. What do you value enough to buy on credit, and how can we charge an extra fee to you? How can we make sure that your pockets are empty? And buy now, pay later is the thing that does that. And when we're dealing with musicians are often not high money earners. The irony is, if you have the money to buy something, then you don't have to do the financing. It's only if you just barely don't have enough money, or you're worried. The emotional thing about being worried about, like, oh, if I spend $1,000 right now, I'm going to be out of money. But if I spend $250, $259 4 times, I can do that. Now, there are times when this is an okay idea. The times are generally when there is some kind of profit that can come out of the thing that you finance, so much so that you think of a future time when the thing is helping you earn money. We're sitting in, we use credit to buy things, or kind of bridge the gap when when our profit and and success kind of goes up and down. Once in a while I let things sit on a credit card for, I like to pay them off every month, but once in a while it has to sit. And that's not a good feeling for me, but I know there's a greater purpose for that, and that, the next month we'll do okay, and I'll push that. I'll make sure we pay that down, and that we're not paying those rates, which are crazy. But there are times, let me think, when spending money is good. And of course, we're in the business of selling things. So you can see a clear path to the fact that you own this thing will prevent such an advantage that it's worth taking the risk or paying the extra money in financing it, and therefore you can do that. Most of the time, the buy now, pay later, and or when you finance it on your own credit cards, it's just to make you feel comfortable about your purchase. When you're not handing over money, when it's just beep, okay, it's done, and a lot of the anxiety of buying something goes away. And that's what stores want. They want you to have less anxiety about buying things. However, this store, me in particular, we want you to be financially healthy. And we don't want to put anyone in a situation where they're spending too much money on something. We have guitars for all levels of finance, from $100 up to as much as you want to pay. But the important thing is, when we're dealing with this credit thing, only use these things so seldomly, and only when, okay, I got to play in this band, I need this amplifier to do it, I'm going to be making money in this band, when the path is clear, and not, if only I had this amp, I could be this kind of guitar player who got this kind of gig, so maybe I should spend the money on this amp. So be careful what you wish for as far as financing. Keep in mind that this is not done with your best interests in mind. I know some of you believe the Guitar Center in Sweetwater are your friends. They call you on the phone and ask how you're doing. Of course they're your friends. But they're in the business of making you spend all your money. So keep that in mind. The more money you spend, the more that gets transferred to the private equity companies that own these endeavors, are Klarna and those kinds of things, and the finance companies. And therefore, use it sparingly and use it cautiously. So, thanks for watching. There's a lot of videos here on YouTube you can check out, and check us out. There's hundreds of videos here. Check us out on Instagram and Facebook and all that good stuff. And thanks for watching.